Johnnie Bolin's dad was instrumental into getting him into music. He bought both Johnny and his brother Tommy guitars at a young age, and while Tommy was fine with that choice, Johnny insisted in getting a set of drums. After some time, his dad gave in, and Johnny was able to pursue what was in his heart.
Tommy, being my older brother, as I got older, I started kind of following what he was doing. He had an instrument, I would sit and just listen to him. And when I got old enough, my dad bought me the guitars. But I really wanted to play drums, so he got me a kit.
Johnny would get his feet wet with garage bands at the age of 12. As he grew older, he would graduate to established gigging bands.
With an agent, I was in a band called Spider and the Crabs. Well, that's who the Flippers were with, and the Seven Sons. And playing band called the Red Dogs. We played all over the place regionally.
Around this time, Tommy asked Johnny to go to Canada for a week and do some gigs with a high-profile violinist. This exposed Johnny to performing at a higher level than just the bars and clubs he was doing back home.
Came back, and I went back home to Cowtown, USA. Well, Tommy, he was with that band Energy. They came back here to play. Sioux City. They'd be playing the same gigs we were. I mean, like they'd go to Rapid City and a place called the Miners Camp, and we were booked out there. So they didn't like us. They broke the windows out of our van, and we weren't asked back at all. So we're kind of, on the same kind of level right there.
Johnny kept up gigging on the local scene with longtime friend John Bartle. Tommy would always come back to play the area with whatever his current band was at the time. On one occasion, he came into town with the James Gang.
John Bartle grew up with Tommy in Sioux City. He's a really good guitar player. They played a lot alike, they did. So he said, well, make sure Bartle's there. And you're playing drums, right? I go, well, yeah.
The next time Tommy came through town, he was embarking on his solo tour. This time, he could handpick the musicians he wanted to play with.
I needed a drummer. Do you want to play drums with me? I go, well, yeah. He goes, won't Bartle get mad at you? I go, I don't care if he get mad at me. I mean, I doubt it. I think he probably thought it was pretty, why would I stay? Just, yeah. I'll leave it at yeah. Then I was in the Johnnie Bolin band.
So in 1976, Johnny joined Tommy's band, and he went from playing his local truck stop to playing Mile High Stadium in Denver, Colorado.
Steve Miller, Peter Frampton, and Gary Wright, and Johnnie Bolin. So from 5 people to 50,000, or how many was out there. So I played with Tommy for about 3 months. But there have been 2 other drummers before me. I followed Bobby Berge, who's his drummer in Zephyr, and I thought it was really an honor to play with him. And it was a really good time to be with somebody, because I followed Tommy play so close. And so when I joined his band, it's like, with the initial kick I got out of him asking me, I just felt really, really comfortable.
Johnny left Tommy's band, and sadly, Tommy would pass away from a drug overdose 6 days later. Johnny would travel to California to get Tommy's affairs in order. While there, he would run into a guy at a Supertramp concert named Freddie Salem. Freddie would fly Johnny to Seattle to play on a demo tape. Johnny would turn around and move to Ohio, where Freddie lived, to ultimately gig with Freddie.
But then he got a gig with the Outlaws. So thanks, Freddie. He took me away from LA, which I wasn't playing. I didn't really know where my head was at. My brother passing anyway. That probably was the right place to be. So I'm back to the city for a couple months. He said, I'll get you a gig. So I found these guys in Miami. Anyway, I went down there. I played with them. I stayed down there for about a year.
Johnny's time in Miami would lead to meeting Richard T. Bear, a recording artist who invited Johnny to New York to record an album and eventually tour the States and even overseas.
And they got us some really good gigs, backing up Jay Giles and Black Sabbath and Boston, the Felt Forum in Madison Square Garden with Eddie Money. It was just a great gig all the way around. And he lost his record deal. So back to Iowa I go.
While back in Iowa, Johnny would reunite with old bandmate John Bartle. They centered their operations in Des Moines and start a group called the Penetrators. This band would morph into one called DVC, and they'd move to Minneapolis and get a record deal and record a couple albums.
DVC went a while, then we lost our record deal. We had 2 records out. So then I went with this band up there called Dare Force, real popular band. And they're making records just, locally, but they had a studio and all that. So I was with them about 3 years.
Dare Force would open for Black Oak, Arkansas when they came through town. One of the times they asked Johnny if he needed a gig. Since the other members of Dare Force had other projects, he decided it would be a good move.
It was a great gig. I mean, I went down to Little Rock and rehearsed with them, and then went on the road right away and played all over. The next 30 years, I was with Black Oak, played all over the place.
Johnny played with Black Oak for 33 years, as well as appeared on 3 of their albums. He always found the time to come back to Sioux City and played the annual Tommy Fest honoring his brother. One of the shows of note happened in Denver, featuring one of Tommy's early bands, Zephyr, as well as Tommy's ex-bandmate Glenn Hughes.
Kind of started the festival was we just have a party at a bar, a pizza place, and we just play his music on his birthday. You know, when Black Oak played, I was down there in Texas. I go, when we were playing that weekend, I told Jim, I go, I'm gonna go home for a week or so. I gotta do this thing for Tommy. He's going, well, tell me more about it. I go, well, it's just at a pizza place. I don't think we could ever play there. See how much they'll give us, and we'll go up there and do it. So we all drove up to the city, and Black Oak played in this little pizza joint.
Johnny has been doing Tommy tributes events for the last 25 years, as well as still keeping active in the music community in Sioux City, playing with a symphony in a rock and roll orchestra called Rockestra.
That about sums everything up, I think. Thanks, everyone.